And by the way, I think it's actually very dangerous right now for the US government to going after specifically on ad platforms like Google, Facebook, and potentially Apple with what they're doing in Amazon. When TikTok is such a threat, you literally should let them completely free and go after TikTok.
Kids in China are being served like science, and kids in America are shown floppy-haired kids dancing.
Yeah. And Chinese kids are getting smarter. We're getting good haircuts. Actually, bad haircuts.
Bad haircuts and awkward dance moves.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat, #1 podcast in the world. Last episode, I wore the big hat from the Noggin Bros. Now Anand's wearing a big hat that says Chatty. He wears it throughout the entire episode casually, doesn't even realize that it's on. It is a very comfortable hat. Check out the social media, YouTube, TikTok clips. I don't think anyone takes any of our clips seriously when we're wearing the hat because they're just like, what are these guys doing? But
we may go viral. 2 back-to-back episodes with the hat.
Or people might think you look crazy.
One of the two.
All right, we have an action-packed episode. We're talking Microsoft earnings. We're talking Oscars. We are talking Amazon launching in the healthcare prescription business. And then Walmart raising wages for minimum wage. Big news and so much more. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat, #1 podcast in the world. I'm live from a phone booth in New York City at a WeWork, projecting today's episode. Welcome to the pod, everybody.
What's the vibe in New York City? You've been there 2 days now, right?
2 days. It is chilly, but manageable. Last night, the city was dead.
Really?
We couldn't even find a post-restaurant bar to hang out in with like more than 5 people. It was terrible.
That's kind of surprising. New York's never like that.
I think it's over.
Think it's over, huh?
Yeah. I think.
Where'd you guys go to dinner?
We went.
A lot of Indians.
We went to an Indian restaurant with a lot of Indians. We went to a restaurant called Crown Shy. With I guess a really popular Indian chef. The food was phenomenal.
So you're cheating on tamarind. That's our go-to in New York. Tamarind
and Tribeca is my, longtime favorite. This is kind of more of an experience and like a different vibe, but great meal and good time. But other than that, I'm just working, so I haven't had a chance to even eat any food today except for a quick little breakfast. So I'm starving right now.
Okay. Let's hope we get through this.
You know what a lot of people, what the hot thing in New York City is that 3 guys that I talked to are doing?
What's that?
Like those shots to lose weight.
Yeah, that's hot because the Kardashians, I think, basically normalized it. It's
everyone's taking it. I'm taking it. I'm not going to be fat anymore.
Anti-diabetes drugs that basically make you lose weight.
Yes, it is the hot thing. I think I talked to 3 guys in the last 24 hours that's doing it, and they all look great.
They lost weight since you last saw them.
1 month, 15 pounds. One guy.
Really?
Yeah, and he wasn't that. He's like how if I lost 10 pounds, it'd be very noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
This was same thing.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants a shortcut, so makes sense.
Yeah, I'm all in on it. I mean, why not? What do I got to lose?
Weight. You actually don't need to lose that much weight, do you?
10 pounds would be nice.
Okay.
I'm 10 pounds above my wedding day weight.
Okay. But did you get really skinny for your wedding? I don't remember.
For the pictures, I look skinny.
Okay, that's good. So you want those skinny pics?
I love skinny pics.
Yeah, I'm a fan too.
I don't want to be fat in pictures. It's not fun.
It's going to be curious how widespread this gets, because I know it's the thing amongst people of means. I've heard it.
My friend told me because he has high blood pressure, insurance covered it. It was $25.
Wow. So there's been new, I think, FDA warnings for children because of obesity in children. And obviously you become a drain on the system, right? Insurance and the hospital system and everything. And I'm curious, when does it get so mainstream that we start prescribing this to children? Because it starts when you're young, right? Obesity. Yeah. So it's really hard to be going into your 20s and 30s fat and then reversing it.
Yeah, it requires a lot of discipline, because that is basically when your metabolism is like so incredibly strong, and it only slows down from there.
Yeah, I mean, because
I don't even eat anywhere near like I ate 10 years ago, but the impact is like so dramatic when I eat unhealthy.
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm turning 40 this year. I have to work out 5 times a week to basically maintain what I had 10 years ago.
Yeah. Fascinating. Well, that's the hot thing in New York.
I think it's a hot thing everywhere. It's come up a lot.
I didn't personally know people that were doing it till the last 24 hours.
Really?
Because I made comments. I'm like, wow, you look great. Wow, you look great. Next thing you know, everyone's like, well.
So does it actually reduce your appetite, or are they just still eating like pigs and just skinny?
It does apparently. I forgot how it's explained. It's like some insulin. Like you gotta. Well, let's do some research and come back to people on it. But it definitely does suppress. I guess it's considered not suppressing your appetite, but that's basically what it is doing.
I mean, if it's you can eat whatever the hell you want and you still stay skinny, it's the miracle drug.
I think it is. I think it is a miracle drug.
So just eat pizza and fries and you're good to go.
I mean, I'm very curious about this thing. I kind of see there's no reason not to try this unless someone can convince me otherwise.
Yeah. Well,
if you say, oh, it's impotence. I have 2 kids. Do I really need more kids?
That's not going to deter you.
There'd be very few things that would deter me at this point.
Yeah. And, there's one thing I wanted to bring up before we get into news. Ari, who is our producer, our resident AOC Elizabeth Warren progressive on the pod.
Yep.
He manufactured to basically remove 3 people from this podcast that used to be in this room working and then came and asked for a raise.
Yeah.
It's pretty Machiavellian of him.
He's a shark. The guy's he's a pig. He's a shark and a pig.
Isn't it funny that like he can go to the voting booth and support all these like fair play, let's level the playing field.
What I did was fair. What do you mean?
That's capitalism, buddy, not socialism. And I'm fine with capitalism. I'm fine with capitalism. I love capitalism. I just want people to be honest with their views. If you're going to get 3 people kicked out of the podcast room and you take their work and then ask for more money, it's the opposite of quiet hiring.
Loud firing.
Yeah, loud firing. It's very impressive.
It is. He's a shark. Don't get it fucked up.
Normally we have 4 to 5 people in this room. Now it's just Ali and Ari.
Unbelievable.
It's pretty impressive.
Ali's next.
Yeah. He's coming for you. He wants those headphones off.
Yeah.
He's like, stop listening to that damn podcast.
Ari's going to start slanging ads now. It's a wrap.
It's good stuff. I'm impressed.
No, it is impressive, and good for him.
Yeah.
I'm down for a good shark.
Yeah, it's good. We're swimming in them.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some news. The big news is Microsoft is just reported earnings. Stock is up 5% in after hours. And, there was all this question about, they announced the layoffs, and the layoffs cost them $1.2 billion to handle the restructuring costs and consolidating some leases, which is a huge huge hit. They still made their net profit was still like $17 billion or something crazy. 16.43 billion. Last year, the same quarter was 18.7 billion. They slightly missed on revenue. I mean, this business is just absolutely on fire still.
And they crushed on cloud, which is what everyone was like, are people going to lower their cloud spend? And they just blew it out of the water. This business is unbelievable, but it's a good sign for the economy because Microsoft is a good gauge on every company that uses their services. So no one's stopping. So I think we're getting closer to what everyone is hoping for, which is a soft landing, meaning despite the Fed raising rates, we really haven't crushed the economy.
Yeah, I mean, I still think there's definitely pain to come, right? Like, I don't think we can say that the pain is over. Like, most of the pain hasn't even started to be felt yet. So,
but I also think what, at least from the public equity markets, what you're kind of seeing with all these companies and earnings, like Texas Instruments missed and the stock's flat. So I think 2023, this is my big bold prediction, is investors are looking for an excuse to buy rather than 2022, investors were looking for an excuse to sell.
Oh, I like that.
So if you came up short in 2022, your stock was down like 30%.
Yeah.
And that was like the biggest companies in the world to the small companies. It was across the board.
Yeah, I think that was the sense of just blanket fear, right?
Yeah, now what you're seeing is you show any good news, you get a pop.
Yeah.
You show bad news, as long as you didn't fall off a cliff, you're flat.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then my other hot take, which I texted you in a chat with our friend Michael Katz, is that I think this is the year of risk assets come back, because when you have the risk-free rate effectively at 5%, meaning you can buy treasuries and tax-free 4.5%, to 5% right now, and then the S&P at this point, I think people think it's going to be a positive year. So now you're talking maybe the S&P is like 10%. So if you're a hedge fund and you charge 2 and 20, 2% management fee, 20% of your profits, you have to achieve 15% to even be on par with the stock market.
Yeah.
And real estate is effectively uninvestable with 7% mortgage rates and interest rates so high. And with office could fall off a cliff. So where else are you going to go to get the return? If you're going to charge 2 and 20, you have to beat 15%. Where are you going?
Yeah.
It has to be risk assets.
Yeah, I think that logic makes sense because, like you said, the math has to be where these people have to. Yeah, I mean, if you're a
you have to accomplish something that you can't just do blindly.
Yeah, because
blindly is just
if you're a risk averse investor, you have a place to put your money now. You can put it in treasuries.
You put in treasuries. You can put in the S&P 500.
Yeah,
you can just buy indexes. So if you're a hedge fund that's managing, billions and billions of dollars, you have to prove to your LPs, your investors, that you have some sort of edge.
Alpha, yeah.
The alpha that you can't get in the just being like, a retail Schwab account trader.
That's fair.
It's my hot take.
I like it. I think it's a valid one. Here's another hot take. The U.S. is now accusing Google for monopolistic practices in their ad business. I mean, I don't know if this is some big secret.
Yeah, it's not a secret, but why is the Department of Justice, I think this is 8 states are suing.
Yeah.
And we still have no legislation on TikTok. And no one's suing ByteDance.
Well,
or no one we're seeing like rumblings, like Texas universities basically banned it from campuses.
All Texas universities, right?
Yeah, all Texas universities, you can't access it through the campus Wi-Fi. Doesn't mean you can't access it. You step off campus, you could use it or you get off the Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
They can't stop 5G, right?
No.
So it's kind of irrelevant. Everyone has unlimited data plans.
Yeah.
So what what did we really accomplish there?
And by the way, I think it's actually very dangerous right now for the US government to going after specifically on ad platforms like Google, Facebook, and potentially Apple with what they're doing, and Amazon. When TikTok is such a threat, you literally should let them completely free and go after TikTok. If you're going 100%. After anyone, you should only go after TikTok. But if you're going after TikTok and you're going after them, I can live with that. But like, they're not going after TikTok. But it sounds like there are rumblings, there are discussions happening. Here's the reality. I think that the too big to fail is basically where TikTok is at, where it's too powerful of a product and too important to too many people that, like, I think it's going to be pretty hard to do any real. I'd be shocked at this point. Like, if the U.S. government,
if you're not going to touch TikTok, just throw out these lawsuits. Let Google run free.
You should let everyone run free.
And Facebook should be able to go buy whoever the hell they want to.
And Apple should be allowed to put ads inside of iMessage. You mentioned movie. Here's a movie. Go watch it.
Yeah, we actually, we mentioned in a bunch of text messages, the name Ari Emanuel came up, and my TikTok, no joke, within 12 hours, all I got was Entourage clips.
No way.
Swear to God.
And
I was just getting like 2-minute clips of Entourage of Ari Gold, Jeremy Piven, like, all those funny scenes where he's like screaming at his staff and screaming at Lloyd.
Those are great clips.
Great clips, but I've not searched Entourage. I've not watched the show. I've not Googled anything about Entourage. It was just the name Ari Emanuel in my text messages.
Yeah. TikTok is good.
TikTok's great. So it's funny. I had a meeting. I'm going to follow up today. And I told our buddy Angelo, who listens to the pod, this story. So then he, with his phone right there, just started talking about candy manufacturing. I love candy. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And then I realized he was basically saying it over and over again. He goes, this is the only venue and channel I've ever said the word candy. I don't Google candy. And I want to see if I'm going to get served candy. So I'll follow up tonight. He just kept saying candy for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the especially in that 60 minutes video of, what they covered regarding TikTok and really how the content young people in China are getting fed versus the content young people in America are getting fed. It's clear, like there is some angle here that is very detrimental to the health of the American youth that TikTok is, and Instagram and Facebook have been, they've had to show up at Congress and talk about this. And the reality is whatever TikTok is doing is far greater than whatever Instagram and Facebook has done.
Yeah.
It's not even comparable because of that.
The 60 minute clip is basically kids in China are being served like science, and kids in America are shown floppy haired kids dancing.
Yeah. And Chinese kids are getting smarter. We're getting good haircuts. Actually, bad haircuts.
Bad haircuts and awkward dance moves.
Yeah. And I think, and dude, I mean, if you can't see that that's blatant, like,
and every report's come out similar to every social media platform, they get to thumb the scale in terms of what we see. This isn't new news.
There's a viral button on TikTok. That's what was leaked last week.
Yeah, they called it a heater. They want to send a heater.
Yeah, so if you know that exists, and we know it's like you shoved, people would rather eat Doritos than a carrot. Like, it's just what it is. You serve them junk, they'll eat junk. And so I think with content, it's the same thing. And I think we'll really have to see how the evolution is of the regulation. Because if the U.S. government doesn't do anything to them, and then they continue to go after what's happening with all these other, because, like, I mean, you could argue that OpenAI and Microsoft there's all kinds of potential issues with that
Yep.
you're going to have to address. And
You got to turn a blind eye if you're going to let the floppy hair kids keep going viral.
yeah, I don't know. I think they really need to like dial in on how to do on how to solve for this, because right now it's a joke.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
All right, everyone, Cathy Club members, the Discord should be launching this week. We have our first special perk for all Cathy Club members. So head on over to chattycathyclub.com and we will get you onboarded to our Discord channel. And then stay tuned for all the cool little drops we have and all the things we're going to do for the community. We are extremely excited. And of course, we're going to give away a big hat. That'll happen next week. So stay tuned. Back to the episode. All right, moving on to some entertainment news. The Oscars are out. The nominations are out. And any big surprises here?
I think the big surprise is most people probably haven't seen most of these movies.
You don't think so?
I watched Elvis.
I watched Elvis. I liked that.
It's great.
Best Picture are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Banshees of, I don't know how to pronounce it, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun, Triangle of Sadness, Woman Talking. Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Top Gun.
I literally, I've seen Elvis. That's the only movie I've seen. Best act.
So have you seen all those reports? You know, if you hear Austin Butler, he still sounds like Elvis and he didn't sound like it before.
Yeah. I like
It's kind
that.
of crazy.
He's a rock star.
He is.
You
He
want to
blew
pretend
up.
like you're Elvis? Go be pretending like you're Elvis. He's dating Kaya Gerber. He's a stud. Let him do his thing. Talk
Yeah,
like
I like
Elvis
it.
for the rest of your life. What do I care?
He br-
It's interesting. Golden Globe, the viewership continued to be low, like horrendous. I think it was better than what was canceled the year before. So
Yep.
I'm curious to see if Oscar sees a bounce. But the problem is like, I don't know. It'll continue to kind of be what it is. It's just going to be
Yeah, it'll just slowly dwindle. And it's almost like industry conferences. They're going to exist no matter what. It'll just be a smaller group of people who watch it.
yeah.
Like CES was down from 180,000 attendees to 100,000.
Yeah.
Next year will probably be 90,000.
Yeah.
The year after that will be 75.
Yeah.
It's going to exist.
Yeah.
So will the Oscars.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
There's enough people in Hollywood that want it to exist. They want the parties. They want to get together.
Yeah.
That's how they like.
That's how I feel about
network and-
radio. I don't ever see a world where radio dies.
I agree. I still pop it on every once in a while.
Yeah. And I think people forget like how big of the advertising market radio still is. It's like fascinating how big it is.
And what I've also noticed is during the pandemic, when we were all at home, I consumed so many more podcasts. And I think my bar was just lower,
Yep.
meaning I was just like, I need something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like very specific on what I listen to. Whereas I remember sitting on our roof at the apartment building, I'd listen to anything.
You're just so
And
bored.
it's probably just trash.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I was reading some stat about like how many podcasts don't even get past like episode 5, and like there's a huge decline in the number of new podcasts being created. I could be wrong, but I felt like I read that somewhere, which I get. Like, I think content creation was very much a pandemic. Like the pandemic created like overconsumption of not only merchandise, but also overconsumption of content. So there was an over creation of content.
Mhm.
And now there's not many people to consume it. And then there's not that much time to consume it. So you probably, the creator has to go back to work and lost some interest because the decline in their consumption. And, it's like, it's going to take time to reach whatever equilibrium we need to be at from even a content standpoint.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much every industry, every asset class, every content platform, content period. The cream will rise, like the Joe Rogans and they'll always have their audience, and then all the other people will lose. And same with like, the stock market. Great companies are still going to perform well, and everyone went up in the last 3 years, except for last year, obviously, and then the shitty companies will disappear.
Yeah, here's the stat: 80% fewer podcasts launch in 2022 than 2020.
I like that. Good for us.
Yeah, rising to the top.
Our price went up.
Yeah, and I think like catalogs of podcasts will become like music catalogs. Like our boy Justin Bieber just got the bag for 200 milli, which is apparently the largest ever. Is that right?
Didn't we just talk about Dr. Dre last week for 250 million?
I thought he was less.
He was 250.
And Bieber got 200?
So it seems like.
And that's Blackstone.
It's a Blackstone-backed company that's buying catalogs.
Man. I think though this is going to happen for podcasts too.
So, like you're talking about, like what the Spotify did with Bill Simmons, just paid him $250 million. And
no, I think there's going to be aggregators of a podcast because you can insert ads into podcasts pretty easily and monetize them. So ours is a news podcast, so maybe a little bit more challenging. But if you are creating more like evergreen content, like for example, the murder mystery kind of world.
Adnan.
Yeah, like Serial Podcast probably still gets decent amount of downloads for that story. And it'll continue to get hundreds of millions of downloads for the duration of the medium, right? And if you think about it from like a Joe Rogan standpoint, think about Joe Rogan's YouTube is going to monetize forever.
It is, but as a listener to his pods, he talks a lot about what's going on right now, regardless of who the guest is. So I don't think his episodes from 5 years ago, absent like an Elon Musk, is really getting listened to.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like if you're in a wormhole looking for content on very specific people or a specific topic, there's a lot of evergreen content in a Joe Rogan podcast.
It is, but he evolves his like research and information regardless of the topic, whether it's diet, whether it's the political climate, whether it's comedy. So I think it's tough. So this company, Hypnosis Songs Capital.
Yeah.
Blackstone gave him $1 billion to go buy catalogs. So they bought Justin Timberlake for $100 million. And now they bought Bieber for 200.
Man, Justin Timberlake feels cheap for 100.
Yeah, his songs we played forever too.
Man.
I don't get what these guys are doing. You know my take.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very confused by it as well. All right, moving on. There's some other interesting news that came out around Amazon entering the generic prescriptions business, and they kind of put out a list of 50 generic medications that treat more than 80 common chronic conditions such as high blood pressure, anxiety, and diabetes. You get access to this prescription medicine at a cost of $5 per month. And you also get free delivery. And it's apparently this service will offer a discount of up to 80% on generic medication and up to 40% on brand name prescriptions. Big move. Amazon's been dying to get into healthcare. This is a big one.
Yeah, so they bought a company called PillPack, which our fund, Queensbridge Venture Partners, was an investor in for $1 billion, I think, was it 4 or 5 years ago? And they've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah.
And PillPack is a delivery service of prescription meds. This is the same vertical that is operating this. I think it's a home run.
Yeah, it's going to work. There's no doubt. And we all know healthcare in America is completely broken. It's the biggest disaster. Like healthcare and insurance is the biggest joke. That is if I were to say the biggest weakness of America as an economy, it's healthcare and insurance.
Yeah, I mean, health. It's crazy that healthcare stocks over the last 10 years have outperformed every single sector, and healthcare's not improved.
Yeah,
So that means they're just making more money because they're just, it's insane.
yeah. I mean, healthcare is
Like you could make the argument, there's a reason why technology companies have grown so much because they have actually made
they've created
everything
value
better.
to society.
Yes.
And
But health insurance has just been a total grift on all of society.
especially and it's at the detriment of human beings, right?
Mhm.
So like, it's not like any other industry where the human being does not suffer because
But like care hasn't gotten better, which is crazy. But health insurance companies have made more money than ever.
you can argue that healthcare should be like a public utility. Like,
Yeah, Google search has gotten better. They deserve to be rewarded.
yeah,
If you search something on Google right now, you will get a better response than you did 10 years ago.
yeah, healthcare is a complete joke, and so I'm actually excited for a company like Amazon to really come and disrupt it. I think they see so much margin. You know, that's their mantra. Jeff Bezos, your margin is my opportunity, and I think they're going to go gut the healthcare industry. I think it's going to take them a long time, but I think they're going to absolutely gut it. And I mean, you know, they're going to come with a big bag of money to go after this fight. And it's also a category that you're not going to see. I don't believe you'll see a Google or a Microsoft.
Apple's the only one since they have all their health data in the watch.
Yeah, I think Apple will 100%, but I don't know if Google and Microsoft will. Directly. Yeah. I think tangentially they're involved in healthcare, no doubt. But directly like Amazon is going, I think it'll be tough.
Yeah, because they already have the logistics network built out. So just delivering you your meds versus your packages, it's the same vehicle.
I also think Walmart is a perfect player to go after it too, especially with primary care, like what CVS does now in some of their locations. I think that's a huge opportunity. And speaking of Walmart, big news, they're raising its minimum wage for store employees to $14 an hour nationwide. That's a 17% jump from where they're at. So these are people that stock shelves and cater to customers. And in some states, they're getting up to $19 an hour. So, I mean, you're seeing these companies are finally raising prices and they are passing it along to their staff. So I think especially lower wage workers feel like there's going to be this huge influx of price increases on salaries.
Yeah, no, I mean, this shows you that the labor market obviously is still tight and with the declining economy. So people, I think, have just figured out how to make that same wage in like 10 different ways.
Yeah.
Whether it's gig economy, being an editor, like a young person today can learn photo editing on their own. They can learn how to do all these different jobs that, yeah, sure, they may not be full-time jobs, but you can piecemeal enough to replicate that hourly wage. And that's why these companies are forced to, it's capitalism. Yeah. They have to raise the wage in order to get people to take the job because you can find that money elsewhere.
Yep.
Virtual assistant. You can do all these things.
Yeah. I like it. It's good. And good for Walmart and good for all the workers there, because that will have a material impact on someone's life with a 17% wage increase. So I think we're definitely making strides on the lower end of the economy in terms of wage increases. And I think it'll continue to shift that way because that's really where there's still an employment issue.
Yeah, no, totally.
All right, everyone. We always get hit up by a ton of people that want to advertise. And if you are interested, head over to Ari. Where do they head over to?
groupchatnews@gmail.com.
So
Ari doesn't get a raise.
Or Ari doesn't get a raise.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Head over to where?
groupchatnews@gmail.com. Come on, guys. I need you guys.
Otherwise, no raise for Ari. If you're interested in advertising with the pod, hit us up and let's see what we can do for you.
Back to the episode.
All right, moving on. Some fun news. Bronny James has been selected as McDonald's All-American, everyone's favorite you know, nepotism kid is back. He's making the McDonald's All-American. He has not announced where he's going to college yet.
He's not announced, and LeBron was in a press conference yesterday saying, Bronny can go to whatever college he wants to. I can just pick up the phone and make the call. I loved it, because this is what happens in every walk of life.
Yep.
From every industry, hedge funds, private equities, investment bank. If you have a powerful dad or mom, they can get you into school. They can get you into whatever industry you want,
job,
whatever
yeah.
job you want, anything.
I think the challenge is saying it.
I love that he said it. Love it, because he's bringing light to what goes on that we all know about.
I know, but do you know that's not how it's taken? We know that. The world does not know how the world works. It just is what it is. So it just sounds, and I get it. Like, I understand how the world works. I'm fully aware that if you're a person of means, you get whatever you want in life.
And your kid does too.
Yeah, and their kids get too. And so I agree with you. I think it's just, it's tact, and it may come off the wrong way to some people. I think he did it. More pressure on Ronnie. I think it
does, for sure.
That's the reason why I didn't like it, because I'm like, it makes him feel like he didn't accomplish it on his own, which, he's still a McDonald's All-American. You didn't get McDonald's All-American by accident.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. Like, but I feel like LeBron is a highly, highly intelligent person. I think he says everything calculated.
Okay. Yeah, I just think,
maybe it backfires, but like, maybe it backfires in the way Bronny gets treated.
Yeah.
But he did say it for a reason. He didn't just slip up in a press conference.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And he's already said, I have to play with my son, so he's going to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's foregone conclusion.
Yeah, that's happening for sure.
The NBA needs it.
Yeah. I mean, NBA needs a spark, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on. Here's some big news. That Ghislaine Maxwell is coming out just blatantly saying that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered.
Yeah.
She just recently did an interview, and then she was absolutely shocked. She was convinced that he was going to appeal, and she was even surprised that she wasn't in the indictment. She was never mentioned. She wasn't even a co-conspirator. And I don't know, these are pretty interesting kind of revelations. And there's even rumor that some of the, I think, did she mention that the picture was fake too? That there was a picture of Prince Andrew and a woman, Virginia, that was one of the accusers, that she has no memory of introducing the pair, and that the picture was a fake, which, I mean, who knows if that's true? That sounds ridiculous, but I mean, anything is possible at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the world's favorite conspiracy, and I think everyone believes he was murdered. It's almost like, where was the source of COVID? Like, no one wants to talk about it, but we kind of know.
So you think Fauci released COVID?
No, I think he came from a lab.
Oh, okay.
Lab leak. I'm a lab leak guy.
I mean, remember when that first theory came out? It was considered so insane.
It was considered blasphemy.
Racist.
People got banned. Racist. People got banned from platforms.
Dude, I mean,
and now that's consensus.
Yeah, it's wild.
We still get COVID warnings every time you guys talk about this stuff. On Spotify, it'll put a little thing like, learn about COVID.
I mean, that's a joke.
It is a joke. Everyone can learn about COVID.
When someone talks about alcohol, when someone talks about cigarettes, when they talk about Cheetos, warning, Cheetos will give you high blood pressure and heart disease.
Yeah, I mean, fast food.
Yeah.
Do we put warnings on McDonald's commercials?
We should put it.
We do it on cigarette ads, right?
We should do it on video games when the kids are playing guns.
Yeah. I'm surprised fast food has avoided that. There's no warnings.
No, because even the lawmakers love McDonald's.
Yeah, but the lawmakers like alcohol and cigarettes, and they have warnings.
Cigarettes.
Well, actually, alcohol doesn't have any warnings. Only cigarettes.
Alcohol is warning for pregnant women.
Pregnant women and drink and drive, they kind of throw that in there.
Those are the two things, but they don't tell you that it's bad for you.
Yeah. And you could argue fast food is worse than, as equally as bad as both alcohol and cigarettes.
Oh yeah. I would say, heart disease is the number one killer in America. Heart disease comes probably equally from all of those three.
Right. So interesting. Good lobbyists. Poor Google. Can't let just a monopoly on search. Let them be.
Yeah, seriously. What are you worried about search for?
Yeah, I don't
search
like
for
that
a
at
salad.
all. It's a good one. There's your title.
Yeah. All right, what's going on with the Doomsday Clock? Is that?
Yeah, it's like all the buzz. I don't really even know what a Doomsday Clock is, but I think they just think the world's closer to ending.
Okay. And so
that's pretty much the gist.
90 seconds to midnight. That's what the clock says. They've reset it. I'm not a big doomsday person. I think we are, like, as a society, feeding into this nonsense of scaring people all the fucking time. And I know it's good for clicks. It's great for clicks. It's great for, this, like, excitement in the news cycle. But, like, it's the same thing with the economy. We all were pumping this fear on recession and all these really scary things that could potentially happen. And we're not through it yet, but there is a chance that we skate by here.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I feel like...
And we have a mild recession.
This earnings season, I think, is going to surprise. I don't think companies are suffering. I think you're going to see certain industries go through, take their... lumps and, may decrease some, but I don't think we're falling off a cliff. Nothing if you go through your course of a day indicates that we're falling off a cliff. Sure, things may have slowed. You may have certain industries that get hit, but overall, I think the economy's still humming.
Yeah. We're seeing it in real life, right? Like, we're not seeing any, like, consumer stuff, like, completely fall off a cliff. Things are soft. I guess in certain areas.
Your night in New York was kind of surprising.
Yeah, it might have been the weather. Yeah, it could have been just been that it's cold.
But it is crazy how the clicks actually translate. So I met with 2 entrepreneurs from London yesterday that were in town.
Mm-hmm.
And they think America is just chaos.
Yeah.
They're like, unlike London is a place where a guy with your last name Murthy can be the prime minister. And I was like, we elect a guy named Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
But we just get people internationally think like our daily lives are just complete chaos. Our daily lives really haven't changed much.
Yeah, we're chilling. You just have to take off your watch.
Take off your watch and don't watch the news.
Yeah, and I think the real challenge is that, like, if you look at news and social media, it sounds like this place is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's burning.
Like, I'll tell you, I honestly think the things that shape the view of America, so much of it is around guns. I think mass shootings is so unique to America than other countries that scares people on another level. Like, gun violence is kind of a very foreign thing for the rest of the world. And I think when you see what's happened in this last week with 2 mass shootings in California, which is not like a gun-toting, state, you have this view that, like, this is what life is like in America, where you could get robbed and you can get shot. And, like, that is not common. There are other very significant challenges living in other countries, but that is something that's very, very much an American problem. And I think that's also the scariest thing, right? Like, your life is at risk, even though most people, fortunately, don't have to deal with it. It is a fact of life in America.
Yeah, no, I think the mass shootings, you're right, is like the worst PR for the country.
Yeah.
Separate from obviously the humanity of it all. It's awful and terrible.
Yeah.
But it's definitely from like a marketing standpoint, people view America as a place where like you can't go to the grocery store without worrying about dying.
Yeah. I mean, in the first 3 weeks of 2023, 69 people have been killed in mass shootings.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So I think like that is something that's just insane when you think about the rest of the world. Like that is just not happening.
And people want a reason to be like, America's not that great.
Yeah.
They love that.
Yeah. You want to
People
believe
love
your
that.
country's hot. It ain't.
Yeah. Or you want to believe we're suffering.
Guess what? We aren't.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
It's a fascinating thing. You know, one thing I wanted to bring up, which is something you're going to have really strong thoughts on. There's a lot of bubbling on social media and private friend groups that SF is slowly coming back.
I agree. I've talked to a lot of people recently, and even
they still have their challenges, but there's a lot of like people that tested the waters leaving SF, and these are both people who have really made it and people that are still working and they've gone back.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm with you on that. I'm not going to even fight it. I give up there. It still sucks. And the Niners suck.
Yeah, that's the Niners
the
are.
Warriors
What are you talking about?
But yeah. All right, everyone. That's all we got. But I am in New York, and I think I'm going to go running with my crew Thursday at the Chelsea Piers at I think 9:30 a.m. Look out on my social media if you want to go for a run. It's a little cold, but it's warming up on Thursday. If anyone wants to go for a early morning, it's not that early, 9:30. With run with like Nahal and Kevin and that whole crew. So look out. Pitch and Run is the name of the run group. And
are people really pitching?
I mean, I have a few investors in that run group, so I can't say that you can't.
Okay. Go get some money.
Exactly. All right, everyone. We will see you back here on Thursday. Have a happy hump day, and let's get it.